The 1980s were a golden era for horror enthusiasts, and we're diving deep into this iconic decade with our series, 80s Horror Memories. In this episode, we shine a spotlight on some of the most memorable horror films of 1985. A year that saw an influx of thrilling sequels and cult classics. But here's where it gets controversial. Some argue that the 1980s horror genre was a double-edged sword, with both iconic masterpieces and questionable B-movies. So, let's explore the gems of 1985 and see if we can settle this debate. Our journey begins with Return of the Living Dead, a cult favorite that brought a fresh twist to the zombie apocalypse genre. Then we have Fright Night, a hilarious and terrifying teen horror comedy that perfectly captured the essence of 80s horror. And who could forget Freddy's Revenge, the second installment of the iconic A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, which took Freddy Krueger's reign of terror to a whole new level. But that's not all. 1985 also gave us Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, continuing the slasher saga that terrified audiences worldwide. And let's not forget the adorable yet terrifying Teen Wolf, starring Michael J. Fox as the nicest werewolf ever. In this episode, we've gathered insights from industry experts like Darren Lynn Bousman, Doug Jones, and Greg Nicotero, who share their thoughts on these classic themes and their personal memories. As we stroll down horror memory lane, get ready for a nostalgic trip filled with interviews, behind-the-scenes insights, and plenty of 80s horror goodness. With 10 weekly episodes, each over an hour long, and in stunning 4K, we're covering every year of the 1980s in detail. So grab your favorite horror snack, put on your coziest nostalgia-inducing attire, and join us on this thrilling journey. We can't wait to hear your thoughts on these iconic films and the impact they had on the horror genre. And this is the part most people miss. The 1980s horror genre wasn't just about the movies. It was a cultural phenomenon that shaped an entire generation's taste in entertainment. So as we explore these films, let's also discuss the broader impact of the 80s horror craze. What's your take on the 1980s horror renaissance? Do you agree that it was a golden era, or do you have a different perspective? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's spark a lively discussion.